Hello and welcome to the Manatee County Democratic Party Community Conversations. This is our very first show and we are excited to have you. My name is Tracy Pratt. I'm chair of the Manatee County Democratic Party, and today we're going to be learning about our upcoming Expo and volunteer workshop and talking to leaders in the community about reproductive rights, such an important topic right now since the Dobbs decision came down and decided that women no longer have constitutional protections over their own reproductive health care. So we're here to talk to some leaders today about what we can do. First, I would like to introduce you to Robin Sathan, our fundraising chair, who's hosting our Expo and workshop. Hi, Robin. Thanks for being here today.
Hi, Tracy. Thanks for inviting me. I do want to share some information about our Expo and workshop upcoming at the Manatee Performing Arts Center on Saturday, July 23rd. It's from 9:30 to 1:30. We have an exciting program put together for everybody where it's in 3 segments. We're starting initially with our complimentary breakfast, which we hope everyone will come and join us.
Everybody likes to eat.
They do like to eat, so we've got breakfast and we have our Expo. The Expo is time to get to meet the leaders of our clubs and caucuses and committees and our local candidates. So we will have tables around the room. We'll give you a passport. You can go around, meet everybody, find out what they're doing, meet the leaders, and I think it'll be great. Yeah. So following the Expo, we've got a general session, a little bit of history, and the main focus is on messaging, because yes, Democrats really do have good messaging. And so that is going to be really great. I think it's going to be interesting and informative. After the general session, we've got some breakout sessions where we're going to figure out what we can do together to put those messages into action. And there are 3 breakout sessions, and you will be able to attend all of them. Then we're going to have a wrap-up, and we're going to give out some great prizes, like our Together We Win hat and our brand new Tervis tumbler from Manatee Democrats. So we hope to see you there.
Fantastic. So join us on July 23rd at the Manatee County Performing Arts Center and learn how you can fight for democratic values in Manatee County. Thanks.
And check our website for information on how to sign up.
Absolutely. www.manateecountydemocrats.com. We hope to see you there. Up next, we have Barbara Zdravecky, former CEO of Planned Parenthood for Southwest and Central Florida, coming to talk to us about the long-standing fight for reproductive rights here in the state of Florida and the challenges that we have ahead of us. So stay tuned. And welcome back. We are here with Barbara Zdravecky. Thank you so much, Barbara, for being here with us. You have been in the fight for reproductive justice for women for literally decades now. The former CEO of Planned Parenthood for this region of Florida. You're now working with Ruthless, which is helping pro-choice candidates get elected. Can you tell us a little bit about your history working with reproductive rights here in the state of Florida? I know you've been involved with all the millions of tax dollars that have gone into litigation. Tell us what the fight has looked like historically and also maybe where we might be headed.
Well, I think everyone's unmoored at this point, and that is that's the word that I keep using, is that during the time that I have been working for women and children's issues, which actually started at Manatee Hospital, because I worked there for 10 years as head nurse of psychiatry and then head nurse of all women's and children's services. And so this has been over half my lifetime working for a better life for women and children in all of Florida. And to have this right so cruelly taken away that will impact millions of Floridians, millions of Americans, is something that I always said elections had consequences, but there was always part of me that said, we're not going to go there. We're going to continue to fight. And in the state of Florida, we fought long and hard and won every single battle. In local courts where we were trying to put clinics in and landlords were, refusing to deal with us, they would have to take them to court. We worked with the state legislature because they were always passing bills that were unconstitutional, trying to, again, whittle away at abortion rights and spend taxpayer dollars like you talked about, fighting those in state court. We had federal court intervention, again, with things that Governor Scott tried to do. And then finally in the Supreme Court of Florida, we testified. We fought long and hard. There was a constitutional amendment in 2008 that vote no on 7, which was they were trying to get rid of abortion rights, whittle it down, and we won by an overwhelming margin. The majority of people in this country, the majority of Floridians, are pro-choice and understand that women should have the right with their family and their faith and their doctor to make the right decision for them. And I've seen some horrible situations that will continue to not be taken care of in this situation that we're in now with the Supreme Court's decision. It is a travesty to live in a country and in a state that denies over half of the population their freedom to choose about what to do with their own body. And I hope to hell that it mobilizes women like they've never been mobilized before, because people have said to me over and over again, oh, it'll never happen. Oh, it'll never happen. Well, look where we are. And it's the Democrats that have to fight back. We are the party of freedom. We are the party of freedom to vote, freedom to choose, freedom to love who you want to love, freedom to read a book, freedom to be educated in a public school. I mean, so many freedoms. And right now we're living under an autocracy that is trying to force us into a situation where, you know, if you're white, if you're Christian, if you are a Republican, then you have all the power. And it's simply not a democracy.
No, and it's not representing the community. I mean, we had that problem right here in Manatee County, where our 2 state representatives and our state senator all voted to ban abortions at 15 weeks.
Absolutely.
And in fact, Tommy Gregory, who is the state representative out in East County, so Lakewood Ranch area, he has been the co-sponsor of one bill after another trying to ban all abortions.
I am with you.
With no exceptions for rape and incest.
And you go and talk to them, and you know, we would take delegations of young people and mothers and family members, and there's just no having a conversation about it. It is what they are being told from on high, and there's no individual decision making. There's no freedom of thought.
Right.
Again, we are the party of freedom of thinking. They are closed-minded and do what they're told to do, even whenever they know in their hearts that it's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, we see that time and time again.
Right.
They're in lockstep with each other, and the policies that they are propounding are not of the majority of even Republicans, let alone the American people.
So why do we let this happen? The only thing that we can do is get people out to vote.
Absolutely.
And that is the strongest message that I want to talk about, is that, you know, we have 30% Democrats, 30% Republicans, and 30% no party affiliates in the state of Florida. It is up to us as Democrats to fight for those folks who are undecided voters, who don't have a party affiliation, to let them know they need to stand with us from the top of the ticket down, because this is the only way that we can overcome what's happened to us in this tragic time of the world.
Well, and this upcoming election is so absolutely crucial. This is the last rampart for women's freedom, for freedom for LGBTQ communities, for access to books and reading and education. It's a very, very frightening time here in America.
It is a frightening time, and our governor is certainly laying the line about where he stands, so there's no equivocation here. You know, we're getting pushback from people in California about what's happened to Florida, and I love seeing that, and hopefully it motivates us to vote. But we must defeat this governor. We have a good chance of doing that, I believe. He's raised a boatload of money. He has nothing but his career in front of him that he is looking at moving toward in Washington, D.C. We got to stop him now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks so much, Barbara, for joining us today, for encouraging us in this fight and reminding us that really all of our lives, all of our freedoms are at stake in this upcoming election. So please, please vote, get your neighbors to vote, get your family to vote, and vote Democrat for freedom. We are here now with County Commissioner and strong Democrat, Reggie Bellamy. Reggie was faced with addressing women's reproductive health on the County Commission this year, which came as a big surprise because this is not a County Commission issue. It's usually a state and federal issue, and Manatee County does not have any abortion clinics, nor does it even have any proposed. Reggie, would you like to talk to us about how, when this issue came up, how you handled that with the County Commission?
Well, it's most like all surprises. You're shocked. You're trying to identify where is this coming from, where is it going. I was in a situation where I knew it was against, things that I believed in, my morals and my values. So my position was strong. However, I think we kind of lost focus of what we do as county commissioners.
Right.
And I wanted to make sure that it was clear my position and assure them that we need to focus on other things in Manatee County. I was very concerned because those strides were to really, impact the equality and the privacy of women. And one of the things that I challenged them with from the man perspective was to, when we're having certain conversations about issues that men struggle with, I guarantee you they would not want the women to hold those conversations. That was a very, very tough time for me. One thing that I wanted all of them to realize, we all have moms, sisters, wives, significant others, and everyone should have the opportunity to make decisions for their own medical beliefs and thoughts. So that's where I was at that time.
Yeah, and you definitely made that statement, and you made it strong, and you stood up for women and women's rights, and also made a point to recognize that this shouldn't be an issue at the county level. Like, you guys are dealing with budgetary issues, street lightings, flooding, right? Like what are the main topics at the county commission that you're dealing with?
Well, we're constantly in the news right now.
Yes.
So,
not always in a good way.
Right. And we do have a lot of issues with infrastructure and obviously traffic. And at that time when all those things were coming up, I was focusing on District 2. And making sure the underserved and underprivileged were getting the things that they should get. The pool was coming up, and we were doing that. So when that came out of left field, as I would say, from an athletic perspective, I wanted to just kind of ground us a little bit and not necessarily sure that we need to get into that because from a local level, there's nothing that we can do to implement here. And we do not even have any abortion clinics or anything like that. So it's unfortunate at its nature, at its worst, but to bring it down on our level and to try to put Manatee County on the front page with this particular topic is very, very, unfortunate.
It was, and it made very widespread news. Once again, Manatee County tends to get a lot of negative press. I even saw something in regards to the vaccine gate in a European newspaper. So it had made it that far. My cousin in Amsterdam sent it to me. But anyway, getting back to reproductive rights, there's so much at the County Commission. Thank you for what you do. I recall that when it came up, the county asked our county attorney to look into the issue to see if the county even had a right to make restrictions on women's access for reproductive care.
And there was a lot of reluctancy there, and within his gestures, the tones from our legal advice, as far as this is not what we do.
Right.
And we went out for an opinion, and we're in a different state right now as far as the reversal of Roe versus Wade. I'm not necessarily sure we're going to get into that, but that's the fundamental violation of privacy and allowing women to make their own decisions. And when you start talking about our democracy, when you start talking about equality, there's a lot of things that are infiltrated based on some of the decisions that are actually being made here recently.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's a scary time, and I thank you very much for standing up for women's reproductive health and for advocating for democratic values, and in general, working hard with a challenging board to get things done on the county level. So thank you so much for that.
Well, that's an honor. I'm honored to serve District 2. I'm honored to be a Democrat. I take very much pride in that. And I always tell people about building bridges instead of destroying them, and finding ways for us to identify and keep our eye on the ball as far as what we should be getting accomplished. And when we slid into the reproductive rights things, I just did not feel like that's something that we should do. But here we are.
Right.
Here we are, and I would always stand with my fundamental principles that, a man should not tell a woman what to do with their body. And if you look at the recent turn as far as what the Supreme Court, the numbers were male-dominated. And if you look at the individuals from the Supreme Court and when they were confirmed, from what I understand, 91% of them were male-dominated. And that gives us an opportunity to look at equality from a different focus lens. And I really think that not just from Manatee County or our state level, but nationally, we need to really look at democracy when we're talking about of the people, for the people, by the people. There's some things we need to do a little bit different.
Right, and that is true. And where reproductive rights come in with equality is that once you start to see any individual as having less rights than another individual, equality across the board is wiped out. And right now, with no constitutional protections for women's reproductive rights, we have half of the United States population that no longer have the same rights over their body as the other half of the population. And I think that's a dangerous, slippery slope. It's my understanding that the county commission decided to ask Ashley Moody, our Attorney General, for an opinion as to whether or not they could even have a municipal code that banned abortion clinics in Manatee County.
And that was the legal approach for it. Obviously, me personally, I'm against it all. And I just want to make sure that stays out there. However, that information did go up to Ashley Moody. I'm not necessarily sure where we are with that, but I would never support that.
Right. But she did say, no, that is a state issue. It's
Right.
preempted
Right.
by the state,
Exactly.
which means the county shouldn't have even been messing around as we knew at the time.
I think everyone up there knew that.
Yeah.
I think all of us knew that, which is unfortunate. So.
Yeah, and it wastes county time. Your time is very valuable. It wastes county tax dollars.
A lot of resources.
A lot of resources went into a fight that shouldn't have even been happening at the county level. So, well, Commissioner Bellamy, thank you so much for joining us here today. Thank you for being in the fight for women's reproductive health, and we wish you a successful session coming forward with the new issues coming up.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. It's always great to come in and talk amongst friends
Yes.
and talk on tough topics. Thank you.
Good seeing you.
All right.
Thanks.